Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? So, here's a question. Are you still paying attention or are you ready for a nap? Because I think it's time that you drink a little bit more coffee. Maybe have some cookies or a snack to dunk into the coffee just to wake you up still. Okay? Because there's still too much to talk about. Okay? There's not enough time in a day for me to cram all this stuff in. All right. I could literally do 10 videos a day, but I try and cram it into two. Hmm? Because that's how much information I find. That's how much research I do. All right. So here's the first video on what you should still be paying attention to if you haven't fallen asleep yet.
Where were you on March 9th, 2022, when President Biden signed the death warrant on American freedom? On that day, in a hush ceremony at the White House, without the approval of Congress, the states, or the American people, Biden signed into law Executive Order 14067. Buried in his order are a few paragraphs titled Section 4. The language in Section 4 makes Order 14067 the most treacherous act by a sitting president in the history of our republic, because Section 4 sets the stage for legal government surveillance of all U.S. citizens, total control over your bank accounts and purchases, and the ability to silence all dissenting voices for good. In this new war on freedom, the Dems aren't coming for your guns. No, they're thinking much bigger than that. They're coming for your money.
So now we're going to talk about the CEO of United Healthcare and the guy that they picked up, Luigi Mangione. Uh, if you want my honest opinion, I'm going to say it, okay? He's a patsy. Not a pansy, a patsy. Okay? That's just my opinion, and I'm sticking to it, okay? Because, yes, I've done my digging. Now, someone managed to screen record and archive the entire Twitter or X feed of this Luigi Mangione. And his activity reveals interactions with numerous accounts, including some very prominent right wing figures, and he has a deep disdain for mainstream media. Now, notably, he remained completely silent on anything related to politics and the election. Take a look. Now, here's a video from one of my favorite content creators. He goes by the name of Conservative Ant. And he is talking about what I talked about in my previous video today. And he said not to mention, because he didn't mention this in the video, but he put this as a caption above his video. Not to mention, they said to attack, just attack non-melanin people. Yeah.
So I just got home and I haven't really been on TV or reading any articles or anything. Do you mean to tell me that an entire organization got on TV today and told people that they better and need to go and destruct things and cause violence? Did I miss that? Because I'm pretty sure the very same people had a problem with a certain day in January not too fucking long ago. But there's people that are locked up because they were there and actually didn't even do anything. But now we're on public television on all stations telling people that they better go out there and start violence. And that's cool.
So for our next video, kids, do you have OCD? It's just a question. I have OCD really bad with cleaning. So a Walmart employee has issued a warning while using public restrooms. You might want to watch this.
If you use public bathrooms, stop what you're doing and listen to this. You're going to need to hear it. This pertains to men and women, but mainly women, and you're going to see why. If y'all go to the bathroom and y'all have to use toilet paper, women especially, check your toilet paper. You're probably wondering, like, what do you mean check your toilet paper? Well, this is why. This right here is exactly what I'm talking about. This is from needle-using junkies going in the bathroom, taking that cover that's over it off, sticking their needles in there and cleaning their needles. Not all of them will look like this. Not all of them will have little blood spots on it. But if you look in the toilet paper, there shouldn't be no pinholes or anything like that. Not all the times do their needles have blood on it, but if they do, you'll see the red marks. And if they have to stick their needle in there to clean it, you'd be able to tell. This is it blown up so you can get a better image of it. This is what you're going to need to look for. Me personally, I've only seen this once or twice in my life, but around the world, who knows how many bathrooms this shit's in and you don't even know. So if you want to be safe, take the cover off, check the toilet paper. If it looks like that, get up and throw that shit in the trash. For all my ladies out there, you have no choice but to use toilet paper. So I suggest check your toilet paper before you sit down and use the bathroom, or just bring wipes or your own. Y'all be sure to share this, send it to a friend, post it on your story, do whatever you got to do to get the word out there to your family and friends. Be sure to check your toilet paper.
So this needs national attention, okay? And when I say national, I mean make this go viral, okay? North Carolina realtor is processing grant money from Hurricane Helene victims. And she's showing these victims who lost everything are only getting paid maybe $3,500 from FEMA. Also, this is a confirmed land grab. North Carolina and FEMA are offering buyouts of victims' properties. Okay, we've been saying this from the very beginnings, and now all of these conspiracy theories, guess what? They're all true. All right? Ciao.
I have a question for y'all on December 6th right here. Does FEMA have money or not? Does North Carolina have money or not? Because I have met with dozens of people in Western North Carolina one-to-one and asked them, as I'm processing other grant money, have you received help from North Carolina? The answer is no. Have you received help from FEMA? The answer is sometimes. And I'll ask, great, how much did you get? $750, $300. Or the lady I spoke to this week who's in a trailer house that has mold, the roof is messed up, but they're still living in it. FEMA came and told them it's uninhabitable. So you know how much FEMA gave them? $3,500. Now tell me this, y'all, and I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. How in the name of heavens is $3,500 the amount of money that should be offered to somebody whose house is deemed uninhabitable when they have nowhere else to go and they don't want to leave? We got to talk about this situation going on. The people don't want to leave. Now, there might be a couple that do, and we wish them all the best, and I want them to have what they want. But here's what's latest. North Carolina's emergency system has said they will do buyouts of houses impacted by Helene. Here's how the buyout works. You can get the money for your property based on pre-Helene values. Now, I did a whole video and an article in the Carolina Journal about this, so you know what questions to ask, and they will give you the money. Why will they give you the money for the buyout but not to stay in the house you want? Somebody's going to have to answer that for me. Well, I found out it's because if North Carolina buys you out of that house, they get reimbursed 75% of it from FEMA. Okay, so if FEMA can reimburse 75% of the buyout value and North Carolina has the money to do it right now, how come the homeowner can't have that money to stay put? Because the outcome of selling your property to North Carolina and FEMA with the local authorities' blessing is that then they will finish demolishing and it will turn into green space. Oh, because that's so good for us. So I asked the legislator, I said, what's going to happen with that green space? I said, who's going to maintain it? And he said, well, it'll be funded by taxpayer dollars. And I said, guess what, buddy? All of this is funded by taxpayer dollars. Y'all got to figure this out. It's taxpayer dollars that FEMA is using and North Carolina is using to buy people out of their homes when all they want to do is stay. All right, so let's just riddle me this. If the government's willing to give them $150,000 for that single wide, how come they can't have the $150,000 to stay put? Why do they only get it if they leave? That doesn't make sense to me because that takes away the agency of the citizen. And frankly, it's completely un-American. Go read Federalist 54 and you will see how important private property was to our founding fathers. And it's got to be important to us again. Now, there's a bigger question here too. Why does FEMA have jurisdiction to do this? How much power does this agency have? And when is some very bright lawyer going to call me, and y'all please share this with your lawyer friends, seems to me that the Chevron doctrine, which got overturned by the Supreme Court this year, should be in play here because FEMA is nothing more than an agency overstepping its bounds. And we have local authorities caving to FEMA. North Carolina's doing whatever they're told to do because they want to grab the money. And you know who's caught in the middle of all this in the worst possible position? It's a homeowner who wants to stay in their communities. Yesterday, I was meeting with some people in a small town. It's not even a town, it's a hamlet, really. And they don't want to go. They love their community, they love their neighbors, and they want to stay put. But they're going to see these dollars, and if the only access to the dollars is to leave, what are they going to do? Why are we putting up with this, y'all? Not everybody wants to live in a 15-minute city. Not everybody wants to live even in a big town. Some people enjoy the privacy of the mountains, which is one of the beauties of this area. Now, FEMA wants to tell people you can't rebuild because, oh, you might flood again. Y'all, this was a once-in-a-thousand-year flood. And if somebody wants to stay put, why can't they sign a waiver? In fact, let's talk about that real quick because if you have a mortgage on a property, the mortgage requires you to have insurance, and insurance ain't paying right now. And the mortgage might require you to have flood insurance, and flood insurance ain't paying. So why exactly does the bank get to make you hold insurance and flood insurance when those items won't pay out anyway? And then here you are. You're in a property that you were told was okay, but you can't get payout from insurance or flood insurance, and now you're told the only way to get any money to get your life going is to leave. It's wrong. It's wrong. If you're in North Carolina, I need you to call your legislators on the Raleigh level and the DC level and tell them to shut FEMA down. FEMA should not have the final word over what our North Carolina citizens can do. Raleigh should be saying to the people, what do you want? Because the last time I checked, nobody in any level of government is asking the people what they want. I will, because I'm a North Carolina taxpayer too. And for the record, these dollars that y'all are throwing around, they're my dollars. I'm a taxpayer. It's the person I talked to yesterday in that single wide. They're her dollars. Why don't we have a voice? Y'all, you need to express it, and not just by commenting and sharing on this video, by calling your elected officials and demanding that they get FEMA out of the way and let people stay put.